The other day, I had a big discussion with myself. It was me versus me. We were talking, we were debating, we were arguing. There was a little bit of tears. Have you ever had those moments where you're having a big, deep conversation with yourself? There's two voices. Have you ever noticed? Two voices? You hear the thoughts, you hear what's going on in your mind, but you're not sure who is talking exactly. It could be your guides, could be your angels, could just be yourself. Sometimes it feels like there are 40 different tabs open within my mind, and I don't know which one the music's playing. I saw that meme the other day, and it just related to me so much because sometimes I don't know which tab to shut off because I don't know which voice is coming in. Not saying that I hear voices. What I'm saying is that we have those moments where we're having those conversations with ourselves. And sometimes we get carried away. And sometimes our mind starts telling us stuff. We're about to go and do something, and then our mind comes in and says, hey, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? Look how you look. And all these doubts start flooding into your mind. Your mind is telling you, these thoughts, or your mind, or whatever it is, these thoughts, these doubts come into our mind. But where are they coming from? Why are they happening? And it throws us off. It throws us off when we're about to do something great. It throws us off and creates anxiety for us. It throws us off to take us out of the present moment. These thoughts in our head, but how can we control them? Do we want to even control them? Is that even the goal? The goal is not even to control them. The goal is to work with them. Same with everything in our body. We want to be able to work with what is going on in our body and be able to adapt quickly. You know, Marianne Wilmington talks about life being a curriculum. Everything that's going on in our life is a curriculum. Everything is a learning experience. Everybody that we meet is a learning experience. So what about the thoughts in our mind that drive us crazy sometimes? It's hard sometimes for us to handle those things, especially when it comes to mental health. We need to know how we can actually operate and how we can actually work with those thoughts that are going on within our minds that causes us discomfort, that causes us a disconnection to who it is that we are. Our job in this world is to be you. Your job in this world is to be you on every single level. You are meant to be you. And what throws us back? There are so many things that throw us back in our life. There's so many things that hold us back. And our thoughts and these doubts and these uncertain moments that cause us this pain, that causes this anxiety, that causes these reasons to give up in life, those are the moments that hold us back. Those are the moments that cause us this discomfort. But how do we relate to them? How do we deal with them? How do we overcome those thoughts? They're not necessarily bad. Those thoughts happen to us. Those thoughts that we have in our lives are not meant to be fought with. They're meant to be worked with. I read the other day about it in an article about how if we can see our mind as a computer and become an observer of the actions that computer is doing, it helps us to take a step back. You see, the more we are an observer of our thoughts, the more we become an observer of our thoughts, the more we're able to work with them and not against them. The goal is not to fight the thoughts. The goal is not to resist the thoughts. The goal is to watch the thoughts. Just like I said the other day, when we're meditating and all these thoughts that are coming in our minds, we want to be able to see those thoughts as passing cars. Because when we see those thoughts as passing cars, we realize that's a red car, that's a green car, that's a yellow car, that's a truck. There's nothing you can do when you're watching the traffic out the window except for watch them, and those are your thoughts. Now, when we're having those doubts and those uncertainties that are coming our way, what do? What we can do is that we take a step back and we observe them. Where are they coming from and why are they happening? And we do not want to make ourselves crazy about them either. We don't want to have to do that and work ourselves up and get all anxious about why. I don't know why I'm thinking that. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know this and I don't know that. And that's fine. We don't need to do it that way. We don't need to get all stressed about our thoughts either, about watching them. The point of the matter is that we want to be able to see our thoughts from an outside perspective, okay? So when our thoughts are coming in our mind, we need to realize the second thing is that the first thing is that we want to become an observer of our thoughts. The second thing is to realize that whatever's going on in our mind is not us. We are that essence of the observer. We are the observer. Again, our job in this world is for you to be you, right? Without all of that stuff, just like how you were as a child. When you were a child, you were curious, things were good. Even if things were not good as a child, they were still good in a sense that we weren't trying to impress people. We weren't based on our living our lives on expectations. We didn't have all this other stuff going on in our minds, wondering what people think about us. Our minds were a little bit more pure. We were learning, we were adapting, we were becoming who we were meant to be, and we are still becoming who we were meant to be. And in this world, it is important for us to understand that our job in this world is to be you. Your job in the world is to be you. And who are you? You see, when our thoughts and our minds tells us all of the stuff that's not true, half the time the stuff that our mind is telling us is not true. Do you agree with that? Think about that for a moment. It gives us the worst case scenarios. It gives us the best case scenarios. And it starts to trigger emotions. But you see, our mind, if we see it as an observer from the outside, as if it's a computer, computers don't have feelings. They don't feel, not yet though. Computers and devices, they don't feel emotions. They don't feel fulfillment. They don't feel love. But our mind is telling us this, or the mind is telling this. I want this to happen. I'll be happy when this happens. My mind is telling me this. But take a moment back and realize something. That our thoughts are an accumulation of what happened in the past and what may happen in the future. And our doubts and uncertainties. Our mind is a concoction of whatever it is that we've been watching, reading, and surrounding ourselves with. Our mind there's a lot going on in our minds. There's a lot in the subconscious mind in the subconscious mind of ours, it's built in there solid. So it knows more than you even know. That's why energy healing is so great, especially like, what's it called? I've gone blank for a moment. Muscle testing. Just like muscle testing is so important because it works with your subconscious mind. The body knows more than you know. The subconscious mind knows more than you know. The subconscious mind knows more than you know. The mind, the subconscious mind, the body. When we work with somatic healing, when we work with different muscle testing, it helps because it taps into something that's ingrained within our consciousness. Consciousness, we are consciousness. We are conscious beings that are inside this body that needs to operate in that sense. So there's 3 things that I want to leave you with today. The first thing is that whenever those thoughts and those doubts and that uncertainty comes in our mind, we have to realize that, first of all, we are not our mind. We need to take a step back and we need to observe that as if your mind is a supercomputer. So the supercomputer doesn't have feelings, therefore, or feel fulfillment or love. Therefore, for the feelings that you think that you're feeling within your mind, when you take a step back and realize, oh, maybe that's not me, that is my mind talking about stuff that I've accumulated from the past that may or may not be helpful to me at this present moment. See, when we become the observer, we become more of us, who we are, taking a step back and watching and realizing what's going on around us. That helps us to actually become who we're meant to be in this world. Our job in this world is to be you. You are you, but not there's all this stuff and all this baggage and all this stuff that's blocking us from being you. And it starts in our mind, and it starts in our doubts, and it starts in our uncertainty. When we were in the present moment, one of the things that I always say is pay attention to what's around you. Pay attention to the details, more and more so that you become more aware of what is actually happening in the present moment. When you do that, you bring yourself back down and you're able to be more of an observer. For example, you're walking outside, pay attention to the designs of the flowers, pay attention to the grass, pay attention to the water dripping out of a faucet. I always say that because the more that we pay attention to that, it helps us to bring more attention back to the present moment. The more we are in the present moment, the more we're able to become an observer, the more we're able to work with our thoughts, not fight them. And then we're able to be more of us. And who we're meant to be is you. We're meant to be ourselves. We're meant to be these beings that have been gifted this life in this world for us to be here. We are a gift. You were gifted this life. So all of that stuff that's holding us back from being who it is that we're meant to be, even though we're always on the process of becoming who we're meant to be. And at this very moment right now, you are who you're meant to be. You are exactly where you need to be. And yeah, there may be circumstances that are very hard and very difficult that you are facing, that you're hearing about. Trust me, I'm an empath. When it comes to that, I just got to turn on the news. I feel it all. My gift is that I can superpowers. I can look at somebody and just feel it all, their pain or whatever, without them even saying a word. I had to work on that. And again, my thoughts, my doubts. What if this doesn't happen that I really want? What if? Well, what is? We need to learn to focus on the what is and what is here right now in this moment. The facts of what is actually going on. The reality of the situation is that in this present moment, the more we bring ourselves here, the thoughts about the future, the thoughts about the past, they come to a present moment and they come to a relaxed state. And again, when we are in a state of calmness, we're able to heal. And healing doesn't necessarily mean miraculous healing. It means getting to a state of wholeness, of healing. And that's what healing is about. Healing is about feeling in a state of wholeness. And when you're feeling that way, it doesn't matter what's going on. For example, somebody may say to me, "Oh, well, I wish you would heal." Well, okay, I appreciate that, and that's great. A miracle would be that I would be completely healed, so to speak. But the perspective that we have on healing is based on what our mind thinks it is. So I could be healed completely. My fingers have grown back, my everything. Disability gone. But that doesn't mean there's still stuff going on. And my perspective of healing may be different from your perspective of healing. Healing is a state of being. When we feel healed, we feel complete and whole and fulfilled and full of love. Unconditionally. So my friends, there are 3 things I'll leave you with today. Number 1, when you're trying to control those thoughts, don't try to control them. Work with them, not against them. For when you are fighting your thoughts, they're just going to persist. Number 2 is you want to be an observer. How do we become an observer? We become an observer by watching our thoughts as if they're passing cars. That car is yellow, that car is green, that car is blue. I'm watching it out the window. There's nothing I can do. Number 3, and how do we get to that state? How do we get to that state? We pay attention to what is around us. We pay more and more attention to what is around us, the present moment. How do we feel? What do we smell? What is around us? What does the table feel like? And, the drops of the faucet, the water coming out of the faucet. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Who am I right now? How can I generate that joy, that happiness right now? How grateful am I? How grateful are you to feel what you feel? Has somebody given you a gift in the past? How does that feel that you actually can receive gifts? How does it feel that you had a great conversation with somebody? How does it feel now that you know somebody that's amazing in your life? Think about all those things, bring them into the present moment and just be like, Because you just want to be like, Finally, those thoughts calm down. They do calm down. Same with feelings. When we're getting worked up, when we're getting emotional, those feelings dissipate. They may come back. And again, we can't just walk around saying, "Oh, well, I feel great. Oh, I'm going to send out positive vibes and all that stuff." We're going to bounce back right to where we started. There's work to be done. And yes, our thoughts are based on our trauma and whatever we've been through in the past, and they all accumulate, and that's all great to know. But what are you going to do with that? It doesn't matter whatever happened to us in the past. I've been through extreme trauma in the past. I know. I'm aware of that. And I'm aware that maybe things that are holding me back right now in my subconscious mind that are holding me back, I'm fully aware of that. And I'm yet to find out what that is. And I'm still digging. But I'm not going to get worked up about it either. I'm going to do my best to be here right now and be who it is that I'm meant to be at this moment. And breathe. Take the time to breathe. That's for sure. All right, guys. If you found this helpful in any such way and want to continue this conversation, please comment below. Send me a message. And if you know anybody that this may be helpful to, please go ahead and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe below for more content like this.